What's good, everybody? We got another episode of Ask FP. Got a lot of questions ranging all over the place. I mean, literally all over the place this time. So without further ado, let's jump into the first question. We got Jovan Radovanovic saying, Radovanovic saying, how far do you think the Serbian basketball team can go in the 2015 Eurobasket and the Olympics? I think with Big Bobby, the guy that you asked the question about last time, as well as Malutnov, I think this is one of the best Serbian teams or Serbian sets of teams, in this era in a long time. I think they can do very well in Eurobasket, probably not better than bronze in the Olympics, but you pretty much got to favor the United States for the Olympics all the time. And then, of course, you got Spain coming next after that. HDG Ballout says, do you think that Steph Curry deserved the MVP award more than Harden? I don't, actually. I really don't. I love Steph, but I thought James Harden carried his team without, Dwight Howard there for a long period of time. No other real great player on the squad besides him. And he carried them to the number 2 seed, and I thought that was a better regular season accomplishment, just me personally. I'm not saying he's better than Curry, even though I don't think that's a preposterous statement, but I did think he deserved the MVP over Steph. HDG Ballout also says, do you think that if Jeremy Lin left Los Angeles, then sanity would come back to him? Or will he be the same Jeremy Lin we've seen for the last 3 years? I think Jeremy Lin is who he is. I think he's a slightly above average point guard, just slightly. I said that even when everything was going on when he was with the Knicks. I got called all kinds of names. People told me I was racist because I just was telling people that he's a decent player, but he got caught in the right system, in the right situation. He was putting up some big fantasy numbers, but he's a good player, but he's not great. So he is who he is. Simon Torvey Sunland says, Mayweather may or may not be the best ever. Where does he rank amongst the other legends in boxing of all time? It's hard to say. It's really hard to critique Mayweather or give him, take anything off from him because he's 48-0. He's never lost. So you could make an argument to say he could beat just about anybody in his weight region in history because he's never lost. But that said, for me personally, watching and being the boxing connoisseur that I am, I would still say that Sugar Ray Robinson is number 1. Me personally, I'd probably put Mayweather somewhere near 5th or 6th. But, that's definitely more than debatable. Simon Torvey Sunland also says, who are your favorites to win MLS this season? Says he'll keep an eye on TFC with Altidore, Giovinco, Bradley, etc. I can definitely understand that. For me personally, though, I think Seattle Sounders should be the favorites. I know the Galaxy won the championship last year, but the Founders had the best record in the regular season. And I think that with them pretty much having all of the players, all of the key core players coming back from last year's team, I just think that they got to be your favorites. Also, if you ever see a game in Seattle, that crowd is ridiculous. I don't know. I just think that team is set up to do some big things in MLS. Simon also says, this is a bit different, but who are your 3 top most influential artists right now? He says, I think that Kendrick Lamar is influential. I would definitely say Kendrick Lamar is influential on the hip-hop side. I'd say Drake is definitely influential. Whether or not you like him or not, he's influential. And just because somebody's influential doesn't mean they're good. You can be influential and be the worst thing ever. But if we're talking outside of hip-hop, I would also say, somebody like Lady Gaga. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to like the music, but just take a look at what's happening and the impact that they're having. Katy Perry is somebody else. So it is what it is. Brandon Cage says, what are your opinions of Tough Enough casting? Y2J as the host, Hogan, Page, D-Bry as judges, and Billy Gunn, Booker, and Lita as the trainers? I think they did a great job getting buy-in from major superstars. It's going to make people want to watch. I'm actually going to check it out. I might even talk to the wife and see if she wants to check it out. She watches a little bit of reality TV. So, this might be a little bit of a blend for both of us. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, I think they did a good job with that aspect of it. Solomon says, can the Wizards beat the Hawks without John Wall? I think they can. I think they can. I'm not overly impressed with the Hawks. What's happening to them in playoff basketball is kind of what I thought might happen to them. When you play that precision style, where you don't have a true go-to person, that's regular season basketball. Because even with the Spurs still have guys. They still have Parker. They still have Duncan. That they can go to in situations. Yes, they're going to make the best play, but I just don't think Atlanta has a presence offensively that way. And I think that ultimately that's going to be their downfall. Now, I think it's probably a 7-game series without John Wall, but yeah, I think they can still beat them without Wall. Bolt Up says, do you think that Noah Syndergaard, sorry for the spelling, would do good against the Cubs on Tuesday? Well, I sure hope not. But funny thing that you should ask about that, because his name is one of the main names that comes up as a potential trade target, because the Cubs have a dearth of middle infielders, young middle infielder prospects, and his name, the one thing they do need is pitching, young pitching. So you could see something like an Addison Russell or Starlin Castro for Syndergaard at some point. So, because he's a really stud prospect pitcher, so we'll see how that goes. It's going to be interesting seeing him pitching against the Cubs today. Let's see. Putt0707 says, if the Bulls can beat the Cavs, you think they can win a title? I do. I really do. Those two teams, they're beating each other up right now. And the series could very well go 7, even though I'm going to stick to my original prediction, which was the Bulls in 6. But next round is going to be tough, because if the Bulls win, they'd be better off playing Washington. They really would. I think the Cavs would too, just because from a matchup standpoint, even though I know I just said what I said about the Hawks, but I think from the Bulls standpoint, the Bulls hate the Wizards, and the Bulls play better when they're amped against the foe that they're playing. They have a tendency not to get up for games. So, but I do think the winner can win it all. Nate Blair says, what is one thing you miss about sports from other eras? I'm sorry. Well, if we're talking about boxing, I miss world championships actually meaning something. Because now they don't mean anything. It's just about who has the biggest name. That's pretty much it. In terms of NBA, I wish the physical play they weren't as staunch on it as they are, and inconsistent too. Because some games you'll see the 11 plays, some games they're not. So I think it's kind of unfair to the players, so to speak. So, Nate Blair says, what sport has the most interesting and exciting playoffs? Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? Yeah, playoffs. I really think the NFL has great playoffs. I think NHL playoffs are fun, especially to watch. But the one thing about the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs, as much as I love them, they last a long time. They last a long time. Now, if you want to include the NCAA tournament in that conversation, I think nobody touches the NCAA tournament. The NCAA tournament is the best postseason thing, period. It just is. So that would be my thing. Nate Blair also says, does Russell Wilson deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? No, not at all. I don't have anything against Russell Wilson. I consider him to be a little bit more than a game manager, which is the criticism that he normally gets. But the highest paid quarterback, no. The highest paid quarterback should be a player that his team leans heavily on him for the overall success of the team. And I cannot say that that's the case with Russell Wilson. Russell's job is very rarely to win a game for his team. It's more or less to not lose it. So, no. Von Restford Jr. says the bigger legend is Bob Backlund or superstar Billy Graham. That's a tough and interesting question. And the reason why it is because neither of them are like the most popular legends that you'll see. But I would have to say superstar Billy Graham because I think he's more influential. You see people, Hulk Hogan emulated superstar Billy Graham. Who really emulates Bob Backlund, really? Is there anybody? I guess there's some people doing the move sets with the different submission moves, crossface chicken wing and all that kind of stuff. But overall, Billy Graham. Billy Graham would definitely be the most influential. If y'all don't know who Billy Graham is, you need to look that up. Greek Freak says, is D Rose playing at the level he was prior to all injuries? And how did you like that buzzer beater? Well, I love the buzzer beater. It was, in my opinion, I tweeted it out. I said that to me it was the biggest shot made by somebody not named Jordan. A couple people were saying, well, what about Kerr and Paxson's game winner? Those are obviously big plays, but Mike assisted on both. Well, Mike assisted on one of them. The Horace Grant assisted on the Paxson shot, actually, I believe. Yeah, the one in Phoenix he assisted on. But the reason why this was big, it's for a lot of reasons. First of all, out of everything Rose has been through, you know, from Chicago, having it happen against LeBron, I mean, it was huge, just huge. And I don't think he's quite back at that form, but I think he's really close, really close. I'm to the point where I'm almost not as worried as I was. I'm gonna find some wood to knock on, but yeah. Greek Freak also says, off the sports topic, what's the best eats near Chicago? Well, it depends on what you want. If you want like some hood pizza, which is great, Italian Fiesta is awesome, and you can get it over on Jeffrey, you know, it's on 71st and Jeffrey. There's a couple other locations, but that's the one I like. But you better be prepared because it's a rough neighborhood. You want some more, you know, gourmet style pizza, a little bit more high upscale, then Giordano's is awesome. That's the best. Then if you want some chicken, you want some chicken, you get Harold's. Nobody has chicken like Harold's, nobody. But if you want like Italian food, there's a couple. Maggiano's is really good, but that might be in other places. But Maggiano's is really good. Mexican food, there's a place called Bucho's out in Bolingbrook that is really good. Now, jerk chicken, if you like Caribbean food. Now, the place that I found that has the best is called Uncle Joe's. Now, it's on Cottage Grove, like on 79th. So you really better be careful over there if you are not from Chicago, because you don't want to run up on nothing you don't want to run up. But the food in Uncle Joe's is really good. Another place I haven't gotten a chance to try yet, somebody was telling me about it a couple days ago, it's called Mobavi's, and it's in Hazelcrest, Illinois. And that's a jerk chicken place, and I've heard the wait long, you gotta wait for a minute. I heard it's awesome. Another place I want to try that I haven't got a chance to go to is kind of like a soul food or higher scale soul food. It's a Chicago chicken and waffle place, and it's in the Bronzeville area. I gotta get there. I had a Groupon to go there, and I let the thing expire. Can you believe it? I did that. I gotta go. I'm gonna go. But anyway, we're gonna get back to sports. King Rouse says, what presentation changes, if any, do you think need to be made for NBA 2K16? I would like to see more relevant stat overlays in the middle of the game. You know, like if a guy's hot or something, flash it up on the screen when you're doing some of those cut-in type scenes. You know, he's made 7 straight shots, and put that on the screen. Or, you know, he's 5 for 19 or 5 for 10 from three-point range today. Something like that. I think that would be awesome. I want a halftime show that includes highlights. Please, somebody do it again from around the league. I mean, I really want that. I would love to see a like an NBA on TNT actual thing. Like he took the first step this year. I'd like to see him take another step where you do like previews of the games and stuff like that. I think that would be awesome. You know, a weekend, like a week ending type of thing where you also have, you know, like you give out NBA Players of the Week and that kind of thing. I'd like to see an award ceremony. You know what would be awesome? What if you did they had a whole lottery presentation, which they kind of do, but you know, just the stuff that you really see. I think those are the things from a presentation standpoint that would make it even doper. King Ralph says, do you think the NBA 2K16 should find someone to replace Steve Kerr or just go back to the two-man commentary team? I don't think they should go back to the two-man commentary team. 2K has the best commentary of any sports video game out, and it's been that way for probably the last 4 to 5, 6 years or whatever. And part of the reason for that is because they have the three-man commentary team. I do think it's slightly weird that Kerr is still on the team, and I understand everything came about a little bit too close for them to remove him out. I would love to see Doug Collins take his place. Doug Collins is one of my favorite analysts. He's a former coach. I would love to see it, and a former player. He was really good too. People don't realize how good a player Doug Collins was. He was really good. So I think that would be really cool. And he's just a cool dude. Also, he's coach the Bulls. HDG Ballout says, what did you think of Canelo Alvarez's knockout? Do you think he will leave a legacy similar to Chavez? I think he could leave one similar to Chavez, simply for the fact that he's 24 years old, and I think he's already had 48 professional fights. That's a lot of fights. And, you know, Chavez's biggest thing was for running up to like 100 wins. So, obviously he has a huge following within the Mexican boxing community, which is great, and he should have a following just period, because he's a great fighter. The knockout was probably going to be knockout of the year unless somebody else pulls something crazy out. And it was a very, very good fight. Different style fight than Mayweather-Pacquiao, but doesn't mean that it was that much better. Just a different style. It all depends on what you can appreciate and what you like. Brandon Cage also says, how come you stopped doing streams on Twitch? Do you plan to ever go back to them? I do. I've had a couple ideas. I think I just kind of overstacked myself a little bit with like responsibilities, and that's why I stopped, kind of pushed away from doing Twitch. I was thinking about doing a live stream of a fantasy draft on MLB The Show, which is something that I'll be doing this week. So I don't know if I'm a live stream it or not. We'll see. The Great Patriot says, is D Rose a top 5 point guard in the league? He said, I don't think so, but what's your thoughts? He said, remember, CP3, Curry, Kyrie, Russ, and Wall. I would give Rose, I think, like CP3 is number 1 to me. I don't know if Curry's as high as people have him, in my personal opinion. I would probably go Russell Westbrook ahead of ahead of Curry. Curry's not a good defender, y'all. He's not. He jumps in the passing lanes, but he really don't guard people. Derek has really stepped up as a defender. I think he's in that group. It's hard for me to say all 5 of them are better, and it's hard for me. Rose is not better than CP3, you know, and he's not better than Westbrook because Westbrook just does too many things. But I don't know about the Kyrie thing, and I'm not even sure about the Curry thing, to be honest. And y'all might call me a homer, but I'm really not sure. You know, I mean, we're talking about the way Rose looks right now, not the way he looked all season. I'm talking about the way he looks right now. Walter Davis says, what are your thoughts on MSU quarterback Connor Cook? I think he's going to be one of the first, if not the first, quarterback taken in the 2016 NFL draft. How he plays this season will determine how high he ascends. I mean, you never know. It depends on who gets the number 1 pick. He could be a candidate for the number 1 pick overall, even though right about now I think Joey Bosa from Ohio State would probably be most people's pick, but we'll see. Brandon Cage says, your thoughts on Brady's 4-game suspension that was just announced? Should he have gotten more? He says he should have gotten more in his opinion. I think the whole thing is real silly, and the Patriots should be ashamed of themselves for constantly doing little stupid things. I mean, like, just stop, man. You got a lack of self-control over there. But at the same token, I think that this whole thing was just blown so far out of proportion that it was just crazy. If you know the rules and you knowingly break them, hey, man, what can I say? I mean, nobody can really protect you from that. You knew the rules. You knew you weren't supposed to do that. You know, so it is what it is. Tyler Noel says, wouldn't it be cool if Odell Beckham Jr. wins the cover vote for Madden and the cover has the catch he made against the Cowboys? I'm quite sure that's probably what Madden would probably have in mind, is to have that catch on there. Now, here's the thing. If you put that catch on the cover of the box, then that's kind of putting the responsibility of making sure that animation is in the game. That's the way people are going to take that. So are you going to do that? And do you want to put that in there as... You don't want to scare people thinking you're making an equivalent to the rocket catch again. So I understand, but I don't know if that's a can of worms you really want to open up. Talano also says, what cover of the NBA 2K16 will you be getting? I'm really not a commemorative cover dude. I'm not. I wouldn't care if Jabba the Hutt was on the cover of it. As long as I get to play the game, I don't care. I guess if I had to really pick James Harden, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even say that. Curry or Durant would be fine. I mean, I like all 3 players, so I don't really care. But to be honest, I probably like Harden the least, even though I said he deserved a thing. But as far as my personal preference, not talking about what's the truth, my personal preference for the players, I probably, I like Durant and Curry about the same. So, whatever. Tyler Noel says, who do you think will be on the cover of NBA Live 16? Probably John Wall. If the Cavs were to win the championship, I could easily see them coming back hard at Kyrie Irving. That would be a big deal. But I would say probably John Wall. John Wall would probably be the guy. I think he would be a guy. They've had Kyrie, they've had Damian Lillard. I think they might go John Wall. Tyler Noel says, what are your UFC 187 predictions? And I had to write these down because it's quite a few. So allow me to go to my notes. I'm going to say them real quick, just the big ones. I got Uriah Hall over Natal by a knockout. I got Stun Gun over Berkman by a knockout. I got John Dotson over Makovsky by a knockout. Yeah, I'm predicting a lot of knockouts. I got Benavidez over Moraga by decision. I got Travis Brown over Arlovsky by a knockout. I got Cerrone over McDessie by submission. I got Weidman over Belfort, even though I want to pick Belfort. Some enemies saying pick Belfort, but I got Weidman over Belfort at TKO. And lastly, I got Cormier replacing John Jones, beating Anthony Rumble Johnson. I don't disrespect Rumble, but I just don't think Rumble's ready for that level of a wrestler. Walter Davis says, what do you think Michigan State needs to do to be taken seriously in college football and stay blessed? You stay blessed as well, brother. I think in order to be taken seriously, they have to continue to recruit and recruit well in the state of Michigan. I think that's really key, and you have to win at home. If they can do those things, I think Michigan State can continue to ascend up the level in the Big Ten and in college football. They have to, and also you want to maintain that coaching staff and that coaching philosophy for as long as possible. They're building everything off defense. That's a good way to go. Mr. Hurricane's Camera says, who do you think is Manny Pacquiao's next opponent if he fights again? That's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's some guys out there for him to fight. I don't know if the HBO Showtime thing can work well enough for him to fight the people he really needs to fight, but I think the best thing for him to do is to go down to 140. If he goes to 140 and he fights Terrence Crawford, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but oh my God, what a fight. What a fight. That would be such an amazing fight. I would take Crawford, but whoa, that would be an amazing fight. But that's it for this episode of Ask FP. I appreciate y'all watching. You subscribe, follow. God bless. Peace.